All right. What's going on, everybody? UFC 257 Tailgate Show. Man, Patrick Auger here with the Body Lock. I'm going to have some co-hosts. They're going to be on their way joining here shortly, but right now they're a little late. That's all right. So big day, everyone. Glad you could join us here. We're starting off with this, then we're going to do a full fight companion, then we're going to do a post-fight show. So it's going to be a long day of drinking and watching fights and having fun. Hope you brought your snacks. Let me know what beverage you brought, if you brought one at all. And, of course, I have the Proper 12 and the Louisiana-style hot sauce here to try out here shortly. So we're going to have both of these things, as you can see, unopened. I'm going to go ahead and crack that open. I've never had this before. I'm not a big whiskey guy, so this is going to probably suck. I'll go ahead and I'll pour that out. Do a little pour here. All right. Ooh. Have you guys had Proper 12 before? Have you guys had this before? Could somebody let me know? Is it good, bad? Let me see what the comments are saying. And yeah, happy fight day, everyone. Excited for this, but Proper 12. Let's see. Let me read up this bottle here. Still in Ireland. Born. It's not. Yeah. Irish whiskey, where it all began, Dublin 12. It's the thing. You wouldn't necessarily know it was Conor McGregor's whiskey unless, well, yeah, you do, because he's all over the place constantly promoting it. So there's no way you don't know Proper 12 is Conor McGregor's whiskey. All right. You know what? I'll go ahead and I'll do a little preview here. We'll start with the Proper 12. I'll start that off. I'll do another shot, I'm sure, once other people join. Won't do too many because I'm not trying to get hammered at 2 p.m. before the fights. But salute, guys. Let's see how it is. Ooh. Okay. Not the worst I've ever had. Definitely not the best. I don't know. Has anybody watching had Proper 12 before? I mean, that... I want to say it's a little worse than Jim Beam. That sound right? I mean, it's not that bad. The aftertaste isn't bad at all. It doesn't go down as smooth as I would have thought based on the packaging and what Conor's been touting. But I would say, yeah, I'd say vanilla honey and toasted wood. Got that toasted wood for sure. Can definitely taste the toasted wood. But yeah, no, I'd give it a 3. I'd give it a solid 3 out of 5, maybe 2.5. We'll see how that goes. And we've got our first co-host joining here, Mr. Matt Wells. How's it going, sir?
It's going good, man. What's happening?
Just tried Proper 12 for the first time, and I gotta say, not the best. Not the worst, but not the best.
Already cracking it open, I see.
Well, I had people waiting. I had to give them something special. You know, they were here. We got to crack that open, test it out.
All right.
I'll do another. I said I'd do another one. I give everything 2 shots, 2 chances. So I took about a half a shot. I'll take another half shot, that type of thing.
But, I guess I'll go ahead and crack mine open too.
Oh yeah.
All right. Yeah, mine's still sealed. Picked it up last night. Yeah, now give this thing a shot here.
Yeah, no, that's authentic, everyone. We both unsealed our bottles on the stream. Yeah, we ain't playing around here. This is a true taste test. This is what sommeliers do.
Hey. As real as it gets, right? Am I right? Hey. That's what we're doing here. And I cannot get this thing off. Jesus Christ. It's kind of embarrassing here.
Yeah, it's
great live TV. There we go. Got it.
It took a minute. What's up, Paladu? What's up, Toron Terrell Brown?
So I will be pouring this shot here in my trusty Street Fighter shot glass. All right.
I'll have another little. I'll quarter shot it.
All right. Let's see.
I'll have another little quarter shot here. Give it a little, smell it, waft it.
It smells pretty good. Not gonna lie.
Do you smell the vanilla, honey, and toasted wood? Getting some good hints of toasted wood there.
Sure. Yeah, all those things. Yeah. It's liquid. I don't know. I'm not that. All right. Cheers to UFC 257 and this stream and all that other craziness.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's not bad.
It's not the worst.
It's not the best. It's not the worst. It's all right. Just like Conor McGregor, right?
Ooh, shots fired already, man.
Yes. Ooh. Coming out the gate firing. No, it's pretty good, though. I mean, I have no complaints. No, like sharp aftertaste or anything. It's kind of smooth.
Yeah, no, it's not bad at all. Oh, we got our boy Stefan. Hey guys, look for the fights here in Sweden's close to midnight. Oh, good man. He's always out here supporting us, and he's staying up through these fights. Excited to chat with him throughout this whole thing, because this is one you don't want to miss. You don't want to sleep on this and then try and rewatch it in the morning. You're gonna end up getting spoilers. It's a whole thing.
Oh, of course, of course.
Let's see what else we got here in the comments. Conor's about to destroy Dustin with another easy W for him. Wish they would have gave Conor Justin. That's a more competitive bout. Conor already beat Dustin. Ooh, yeah, we could dive right into this. That is an interesting take. Let's wait a little bit before we get into that preview. But I like where your head's at, Torin. I'll say that. I do like where your head's at with that comment.
I don't know, man. I don't know how much different a Justin matchup would go with Conor.
Yeah, Justin versus Conor. I mean, the new Justin, I feel like does a little bit better, but still, he's gonna get into brawl. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point.
Conor's not the guy you want to get in the firefight with, man. I don't know why people keep like sleeping on him on that, right? Everybody's like, oh, Dustin's a brawler, like Gaethje's a brawler. Like, yeah, Conor picks those type of people apart. I don't know. Some people just don't give Conor the credit for being like one of the most accurate strikers in like UFC history. Like, you just don't knock out Jose Aldo in 13 seconds. You just don't knock out Eddie Alvarez while you're toying with them. Like, these are things that don't just happen. Like, give the man his props. Give him his credit.
No, it's hard because there's so much hype around Conor. You kind of either love him, kind of hate him. It's very hard to be middle of the ground and have an objective review of his performances nowadays. But I mean, the way he's toyed with people has just been, you don't want to strike with the man. That is clearly the last thing you want to do with Conor McGregor. And we got, I'm going to butcher this name, so I apologize in advance. We got Zohair Khan, I believe. I believe tomorrow we will see the best version of Conor's cardio, and he will get a 49.46. Ooh, I think the cardio will be better, right? It seemed in the 170 rematch against Nate, he definitely improved upon it, and that was at 170 where he was heavier. I think at 155, I think it won't be as bad for him unless he's eating a lot of shots, right? If Dustin is piecing him up or really dragging him into deep waters on the wrestling front, then maybe. But I think we could see a very, very good version of Conor where he doesn't look gassed really at all. I don't know. What do you think on that, Matt?
No, I agree with that 100%. I think 155 is the spot for him. I wish he, didn't do other things, because I would have really loved to see what he could do if he defended that title. But of course, he went on to other ventures and made hundreds of millions of dollars, which, I mean, hey, I'm not mad at him for that, right? Because at the end of the day, this is a game to make money and get out unscathed. So yeah, he's set for life for now. And anything he does at this point is just fun and games, essentially, right? But yeah, I believe that 155 pounds is perfect for him. His frame, his speed, his power. And, as we've seen, he's gotten better, like in the areas that he's kind of not really shown off in the past, like with his ground game and stuff like that. So his takedown defense, I mean, obviously Habib is going to exploit any and all of those sort of things, but I think this is a good spot for him for sure.
Yeah. And, it's one of those things where we'll see it in real time. We'll call it in real time, right? We're doing the fight companion. We'll get that in-depth reaction as it's happening. And we can go back and watch and see if we, if our opinions change after the fact. Because when you're watching the fight versus a review, right, opinions can change. When you're caught in the moment, when you're looking at something, you go back and rewatch the fight, it can change quite a bit. So yeah, I think you're spot on there, and I can't wait for the fight companion, full card, prelim to main event every single fight. That's coming up after this, guys. So let's see. We have Muhammad Nur asked a good question. Let me see if I can go back and find it. And again, if I'm butchering names, I apologize. Yes, did the hype for McGregor versus Masvidal die out? I'd say yes. I'd say that I can't think of anyone really looking to see that fight right now.
Yeah, I don't either. It was never really high on the radar for me either. Just in general, like it's just one of those fights for me, like that never really piqued my interest. You know, like everybody's saying, like the Izzy versus John fight. I mean, it's there and it's a thing. I don't really need it. Like it's, you know, it's one of those type of fights for me. If it happens, okay, but I'm not really going to lose any sleep over it not happening. Masvidal has because Masvidal was like on this weird little trajectory, right? Where it was like he was like the viral superstar, and he parlayed that into a title shot, which was well deserved. And obviously, we saw how that fight went. So it's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see where he goes from there. Does he try to reestablish himself at the top of the division again, or does he take another fight against like a Nate Diaz and try to cash out more money? So that's what remains to be seen, I guess.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's tough because if you look at Masvidal's title shot, I don't know this for sure because I know the rankings have shifted a lot, but I want to say he didn't have a win over a top 5 guy, right? He had beat Askren, he beat Till, he beat Diaz, but I don't think he fought anybody in the top 5 before he got that shot. He's riding that hype train, which is understandable.
Yeah, they're all big enough names to carry it to warrant it, you know, especially when you create a belt for a guy. Like he's got to essentially go and, you know, fight for the real thing, right?
Yeah, but I guess the reason I point that out is I know, you know, I think part of the reason the hype died is once he fought Usman and just got wrestled, you know, it's one of those things where it wasn't like he went and cleaned out the division, got, you know, beat somebody for a clear number 1 contender spot. It's like he got that title shot off of the hype, and then the first loss, I think, kind of, you know, took the hype out immediately. So I at this point, you know, I think you're right. He's going to try and establish himself either through another big fight, like I'd say maybe a Diaz again, or something of that nature. Not necessarily a top 5 guy, because I don't see him Colby, right? I think that's the obvious fight. I don't know if they'll make it, but I don't see him taking. I don't know. I don't see him taking a fight like a McGregor fight right now, I guess is where I'm going with this.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. It makes sense. But yeah, I mean, if it happens, it happens. Cool. But I don't see the trajectory of Conor, you know, especially if he wins this fight. I don't see that fight happening anytime soon.
Yeah, agreed. And we got Torrin Terrell Brown saying Masvidal would beat Conor by TKO round 4. I mean, I do think Masvidal would have beat him. I guess that I will say, just because he's bigger and he's got some more boxing. I don't know. You're looking at me though, like maybe you don't think that, Matt. Is that true? Who would you have in that fight? Let's do that.
No, I could see that playing out just like the Nate Diaz fight. I mean, Nate won the first fight because Conor kind of underestimated his size and his power too. But Masvidal is, I mean, he's just a bigger guy. It would just be a tougher fight for Conor. And Masvidal he's a more skilled opponent than Nate. So it would be all around a tougher fight for Conor. And yeah, if it happened, I mean, that betting line at least better be very close. I mean, I know Conor's diehards love to influence the betting lines a lot. So, you know, if you're a betting man and that fight ever does happen, I would probably lean on, you know, taking Masvidal at the betting window, especially if he came in anywhere above like plus 150. Like that's a steal when it comes to like betting value. So
yeah, no, if the Conor fans, you know, did what they did with Floyd, right? Where Floyd was negative 300 at one point, which is crazy. I mean, if you ended up getting Masvidal at plus 150 or higher, you got to throw something on that, because that's way too good odds for Masvidal in that fight. I'm with you there. I think it would be close. I could see a path for Conor. I would still heavily favor Masvidal just because of the size and his abilities. But yeah, I think in terms of an underdog, if Masvidal is an underdog, you best believe I'm going to put money on it. That's a no-brainer. All right, so Again, if you're just joining us, thank you so much. We're doing the old live tailgate show before UFC 257. We will get to some more of your comments soon. But Matt, when are we going to try? We've done the proper 12, but when are we going to try this hot sauce?
Oh, man. So I just had like a little snack before we got on air, but I mean, you know, I'm down to just do like a little taste test, you know, whatever.
Yeah, just a taste test.
A little taste of it.
Yeah, a little taste.
All right, let's get it. Let's see here. Oh, I need to pop the seal. For those of you that are just tuning in, you did miss us take shots of Proper 12, which we will probably be doing a lot more of throughout the evening.
Yes.
So, you know, by the time the main event comes, we might be lit and not be able to call the action whatsoever. So
we might be asking the fans what's going on.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I don't have anything to put this on, so I guess I'll just, you know, whatever.
Putting this on a 3-cheese quesadilla I made.
Oh, look at you.
Oh yeah. I prepped for this one. So let me go ahead and see here. Vinegar, aged cayenne peppers, sea salt, habanero, celery, garlic, and canola. Yeah, you liking that?
That is really good. Oh man. So what I usually do, like, I usually put my hot sauce on. Like, I'm not a huge like hot sauce person, right? But you know, especially like I don't like hot sauces that are like, oh my god, I have to drink something because my mouth is going to, you know, explode. Mm-hmm. I don't like that. Like, that ruins the whole food experience for me. This is really good though, because it's got a little bit of kick to it, but it's also got a little bit of sweetness to it too. Yes, this is really good.
Yeah.
So again, like what I usually put my hot sauce on is like I usually do veggie bowls, right? Mm-hmm. Veggie bowls and rice bowls, and I usually eat those like midday as like a kind of like a lunchtime snack. This is like perfect for what I usually use, because I usually use like my fiance buys. I forget the name of it. I should have brought it in here, but it's a set of hot sauces, different types. Like there's a habanero, there's like a green one, and then there's one other one. And I usually put the habanero a little bit with the green, mix it. Mm-hmm. This can replace my habanero right now, I think. Ooh. This is really good.
Yeah, I gotta say, as a guy that,
and this is just like by itself too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Shout out to Dan Tom. I see Dan Tom lurking in the comments. That's my guy right there. Dan Tom.
Yeah, appreciate Dan Tom.
One of the brightest minds in the game when it comes to breaking down fights and fighters. By the way, if you guys are not subscribed to Dan Tom and his content, you're missing out, people. So go follow Dan Tom. Go follow all his work on MMA Junkie as well. Man, this is good stuff, man. I'm really surprised. I'm really surprised. So we have two very good products right here. Just like we have a very good main event. Man, I sound like I'm shilling for the UFC right now, but I'm being honest. Like, the shit's good. What do you want me to say? It's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah, as somebody that does not tolerate, I'll tell you right now, I am a pussy when it comes to heat on the hot sauces. I just can't do it. Okay. And so like that is the perfect amount of heat for me, where it's like hot enough, but it's not like, holy shit, I got to drink like 3 things of water or whatnot. It's just the right spot. It's perfect. So I love that hot sauce. I'm going to be putting that on stuff from now on for sure.
Yes, man. Yes. It's amazing. I love when, you know, athletes come out with products that are like really good. And so we have 2 really good ones here. So I would recommend both of these. Like Proper 12, like people said, you know, a lot of, I guess, like hardcore drinkers, alcoholics, you know, say it's not like the best in the world, but for a casual drinker like me, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah.
I would say if you're the type of guy that has a whiskey cabinet where you're doing like Maker's Mark and Jim Beam, and well, really, you're not gonna have Jim Beam. You're gonna have Jack Daniels. You're gonna have Angel's Dust. All those fancy whiskeys. This is not the one for you. But if you're just a casual drinker that wants to have some whiskey on a particular night, just hey, you know what? I think I'm gonna have whiskey tonight.
I'm fine.
With you. It's fine. It's not bad.
Nothing wrong with it.
I mean, I was saying, I'm amazed at how well you're surviving the Proper 12. It's right between Mike Melvin and Jameson. That's probably pretty accurate. I'd say that's a good.
I guess. I guess. I mean, listen. I'll be honest with you. Like when I drink, I'm not a huge beer drinker, so I'm not a beer snob. I'm not like, you know, guy that's going to break down all the local IPAs and all that kind of shit. No.
Yeah.
Like, for example, like I have Dos Equis in the fridge right now. That's it. When I drink, I'm usually drinking liquor, and it's usually Crown or like Woodford Reserve or something like that. But I don't drink a lot anymore. I mean, college days were very different, but I'm older now.
Yeah.
So, things have to change, right? So things must change. But hey, no complaints from me, man.
No, yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, the college days are long gone. I can't hold. Yeah, I miss those days. Sort of, kind of. Yeah,
No doubt. I wonder though. So if anybody is in the stream and they want to order this, I believe I need to check and see if my discount code still works, because they give you a discount code when you order it. So just hit me up and I'll try to see if that code will still work for you guys if y'all want to order that. Some Dustin Poirier Louisiana style hot sauce there.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think I have a code too, but hit Matt up first. If his does not work, then hit me up and I will
try Pat's. Yeah. Either one. Either one of us up, man. Yeah. It's good stuff.
All right. Yeah, that's solid stuff. And I'm sure we'll come back to it here in a little bit. Let's get to the comments now and see. We have a lot. Appreciate you guys dropping a bunch of comments to go through. 3 possibilities, which I see in Dan versus Chandler. Ooh, Chandler decision. Chandler second round TKO or Hooker decision. Any other possibility? Well, I am so glad you asked, because I have Dan Hooker by either round 1 or round 2 TKO. Yes, I think Dan Hooker is going to knock out Michael Chandler. I know I'm a little bit of an island in terms of the knockout part, but I think Dan Hooker is going to smoke him. So that's what I'm thinking is going to happen. I know you feel differently, Matt. So why don't you lay your opinion out there on this one? I
don't feel differently. I don't. That is incorrect, sir.
Okay.
I agree with you 100%. The possibility of a Hooker knockout is very strong. Like I said in the preview, in our predictions video rather, I believe Michael Chandler can win this fight, and I'm picking him to win the fight, contingent on the fact that he can get the fight to the ground. If he can't get this fight to the ground at any time, Dan Hooker's going to piece him up. I believe I said that in the video we did. So that's what it's contingent on. If he's able to get a hold of Dan Hooker and really kind of grind this fight out, whether it be pressing him against the fence and slowing the pace down, or if he cannot get him to the ground whatsoever, then Dan Hooker is more than likely going to knock him out. So that is definitely needs to be a possibility in your your outcomes there.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. If Chandler can get him to the ground, then yes, I think Chandler's got a path to victory. I just 80%. Well, I say 80% takedown defense, which is true, and he's bigger. He's got that lanky body, but rewatching Poirier Hooker in anticipation for tonight, Poirier did get him down and did hold him down for a bit there. I mean, he eventually got back up. He didn't do too much damage, but he did hold him there. So if Chandler can do something similar, I will agree that there is a path there. I don't think it's going to happen. I still think it's round 1, round 2 TKO for Hooker. But I can see, I suppose, any of those possibilities that have been listed, because I could also see a Hooker decision. Well, no, I can't see a Chandler second round TKO.
Yeah, I'll eliminate that one too. I'll eliminate
that one. I'm sorry, that one. There's no way. It's the only time Dan Hooker, I think, has ever been stopped was when Edson Barbosa folded him in half and he was still going, and the ref was just like, I got to stop it. Like, he didn't quit. So I don't think Chandler's gonna be able to do that. All right, I know there was one back up here I want to get to because it was a good question about Conor from Adam. Adam Pitzer asks, does Conor fight multiple fights for the UFC in 2021, or does he have a boxing match? This is what we got to address, because it is an inevitable question, and I think he does both. Honestly, I think he has at least one more UFC fight, and I think he probably arranges some type of boxing match. I know they've talked about Pacquiao. That is something that I'm sure they could get together. So I see it, if everything goes extremely well for Conor, I see Conor versus Dustin. He wins. Some point over the summer, he does Pacquiao boxing match, and then he comes back for a title fight by the end of the year. That's my prediction.
My answer to the question is yes. Yes, to both. I could see him, taking a boxing fight in the summer and coming back in the winter, the fourth quarter to take another fight in the UFC. But again, it all depends on what happens tonight. If he wins tonight, I could see him making a case for the title next, right? So it really all comes down to what happens tonight and in this main event. I could see him fighting for the title. I'm still surprised that this is not for at least an interim belt tonight. I'm surprised that Conor didn't make a bigger deal about that, which that really shocked me. Like, he didn't even really mention it at all this week. Like, it didn't even come up in the press conference. It's just weird that that's just been kind of like an omission that everybody's cool with, except for, I think, was it Nick Pete proposed the idea of a tournament, but, and they were all just like, yeah, which is strange to me. But yeah, if he wins tonight, I could see him coming back, around June, July, International Fight Week time, to fight for a title at lightweight, against whoever that may be. So, and if he takes a boxing fight, I mean, listen, we're in the boxing world, we're talking about Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul. I mean, anything's a possibility in boxing. Mike Tyson came back last year. Like,
yeah,
Jesus Christ. Lamar Odom's boxing now. I mean, come on, like everything's wide open in the boxing world. So yeah, I wouldn't tune out anything. Yeah,
no, that's a great point. And, to your point as well, I could totally see if Conor wins, then he fights for the belt at 155. And then if he gets the belt, then they have him go box somebody. I think that's maximizing on your publicity and your marketing. If you have a 155 UFC champion moving over and fighting, similar to what they did with Floyd, right? He was double champ at that point, and they had to move in to fight Floyd. I think it adds to the hype. So yeah, I can definitely see him coming back for a title fight if he wins tonight. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
All right. What other comments we got in here, guys? Let's see. There's lots. Okay. Muhammad Nur, I recently went back and rewatched Diaz McGregor 2 and scored it for Diaz, but I had it for Conor at the time.
Interesting.
Oof. Yeah, it is. I've rewatched it a couple times, and every time I've gone Conor, it's been very, very close though. I can see an argument for Diaz rewatching, especially now. I think last time I rewatched that was like a year or two ago, and it was a lot closer than I thought. I thought Conor had won that kind of decisively.
Nope, Pat froze up.
Nope.
Oh, you there?
Well,
froze up on us.
Back, kind of.
Right, you're back, kind of. Continue.
Yeah, I can hear you.
You're good. You're streaming on my end. So
I don't know where I left off. Point is, yeah, it was a lot closer than I thought originally. So that's all I have to say about it. Is rewatching it. I had it originally at the time. I had it for Conor and thought he barely edged it out, but I thought it was kind of clear it was Conor. Rewatching it, a year or so ago, it definitely was closer for Diaz. I could see the argument that Diaz could have won. What about you? Did you have Conor clearly, or did you think Diaz won?
No, it was a close fight. I had Conor initially when I rewatched it a couple of months ago. Had it for Conor again. I mean, it was a close fight. And if you score it for Nate, I mean, I'm not going to argue to death about it. I just think Conor won. I thought he did more. I thought he hurt Nate more. That's just what it is. I mean, I'm not gonna disparage anybody if they had it for Nate. So I mean, it was a close fight. It's not a robbery either way. That word that MMA fans love to throw around all willy-nilly.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, good old robberies, which they happen, but that was not a robbery. I would agree with that. Torrent Terrell Brown here. Is Tony versus Conor still competitive? Or are you guys writing him off because of 2 losses? Ooh, that's tough. I mean, I don't find it as competitive. I will say that. I'm not writing him off necessarily, but I think a lot of the questions that I had about Conor versus Tony got answered in the Gaethje versus Tony fight. I think on the feet, Conor will piece him up. I think Tony could look for takedowns and go that route. But we talked about this earlier in the show that Conor versus Dustin isn't that much different, right? I don't necessarily, might not be that much more competitive instead of Conor versus Justin. And so I think at this point, I don't know. After seeing Tony get pieced up the way he did, I think Conor would easily win unless Tony gets him to the ground somehow. And I'm not sure he could.
Yeah. I think Conor destroys him at this point. To be flat out honest, I think Conor destroys Tony Ferguson.
I'm pulling the punches. Good God, yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you, because listen, Tony Ferguson has some of the worst stand-up defense in all of MMA. Like, there's a reason people say he has Homer Simpson defense when it comes to the feet, and that's not to say that he's not dynamic in certain ways, but when it comes to getting punched in the face, he's very, very susceptible to that. That's not something you want to do when you're in there against Conor McGregor, because he's liable to turn your lights out. So. Yeah, I think Conor destroys him right now. If Tony Ferguson goes out there and gets a win over another big name and does it in dominant fashion and shows improvements in defense, then I might change my opinion. But right now, Conor destroys him.
Yeah, I'd agree that. Yeah, I don't think he necessarily destroys him, but he might. I mean, yeah, I'd lead. Oh man. Yeah. Solid points. I can't really destroys him. All right, there you go. I'm not gonna argue. All right, let's see. We got all right, let's see what other questions we got. And again, if you're just joining us, thank you. If you've been watching, we appreciate it. We have done the taste test. I'm sure we'll do another taste test here again, just to confirm, that we're not crazy, that the proper 12 didn't mess with our taste buds. Sound of Violence asks, how bad are we going to feel when they make Nate versus Conor 3 for the 155 title? Oh, I don't think it happens. I can't see that unless Nate gets a win over somebody big and relevant. And that's not just because of meritocratic standpoint, because the UFC doesn't care about that. Business-wise, that's bad business for them in a couple ways, though, because if Diaz were to win, I think that's the UFC's nightmare, is a 155-pound champion, Nate Diaz. And so just to give him a title shot after, he lost to Masvidal and hasn't really fought since, I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to make him fight somebody else. And if he gets past them, right, they've talked about Justin versus Diaz. You do that, and then if Diaz looks good, kind of gets some momentum built up, I think then maybe they go ahead and they schedule that. But otherwise, I don't think we're going to see that. I don't know, Matt. Do you feel the same way?
No, there's a very complicated road to get to that fight right now. I don't see that as a possibility. The only way I see Conor versus Nate 3 happening is if Conor loses tonight, and obviously the title won't be on the line for that fight.
Yeah.
The only title I could see them possibly shooing into a Conor versus Nate 3 is a BMF title. If they strip Masvidal of his BMF title and they put it on the line for Conor versus Nate 3.
Oh my God. Could you?
And then that's just going to piss off Masvidal. And then, then you have another BMF title after that. So that's the only thing I could see happening. Yeah.
No, I think you bring up a very good point, though. I think Nate versus Conor happens as a rebound match for Conor if he loses. I think that's a perfect rebound match to kind of save some credibility, have that fight that will bring a lot of viewers. That's what you save Nate versus Conor 3 first. I don't see them doing Conor versus Nate for a 155 belt. BMF belt, maybe. Yeah, I could see that. Who the hell knows? That's neither here nor there.
Yeah, it's wild. Shout out to Mixed Combat Radio, Matt the Lesser out there. What's up, my man?
What up? Question: does a Chandler win bring more net good to the UFC or to Bellator? Bellator, 100%, because the UFC is notorious for bringing in guys from Bellator and matching them up in their first fight in hard matchups. That's something they tend to do. They want to put that stamp down that says, oh, you were promotion over there? Cool. This is the UFC. This is the best. That's the B leagues. This is the A leagues. That's part of their whole brand. Their brand revolves around them being better than everyone else. If that ideology cracks or breaks, that undermines them to a level that, financially could put them in real big trouble, especially with the way their debt leverage now. Like there's no way. So I think a Michael Chandler win here proves that Bellator does have good fighters, and beating a guy like Dan Hooker, which we know Bellator has good fighters, right? Us hardcores, but the casuals fans will be watching. That's the thing. The casual audience is going to be watching for this one. This hasn't been put on a card where it's like, oh, we've got, I don't know, like the Stipe and Ngannou card or something, right? Hardcore is going to be watching that. Maybe you see a couple casuals, but it's not. This is a Conor McGregor card. If Chandler goes out there and he beats Hooker, especially emphatically, I think that's a net win for Bellator, because I would expect Scott Coker and Bellator to actually hype that up and say, hey, like, yeah, he was the champion over here. Look, he's good over there as well. He's gone, but guess what? We're going to, we've got great talent here. And that just kind of bolsters their argument that they can compete with the UFC in terms of talent. So that's my thoughts on it.
I would have to agree with you on that, because you think of the other huge name that came from Bellator to UFC, Eddie Alvarez. When he came over, he took an L in his first fight against Donald Cerrone, right? So that was kind of like that moment. You're like, see, Bellator guys can't compete with the UFC guys. Now, if he comes over, if Michael Chandler comes in and beats a guy like Dan Hooker, then that's the exact opposite of that. Like, yeah, that gives a lot of credit to Bellator for being an organization that has the talent to compete with the UFC. Because he's coming in, he came in as a backup for the title fight, the Habib title fight, right? So that's a huge spot to put him in. So he really does have to kind of go out there and show and prove that he belongs in that position. So it's an interesting thing. And I do agree that, yeah, Bellator would have a huge win here, because you also consider Michael Chandler was like the face that ran the place over there too. So he was the guy that carried the Bellator banner for a long time. And if he can come over to the UFC and get a win on his first time out, that would be huge credit to Bellator.
Yeah, I think every Bellator champion that's come over, right? You had Eddie Alvarez, you had poor Ill Will Brooks, the sad saga of him. You had Hector Lombard. I mean, they've all suffered coming over. No one from Bellator that I can remember has made that straight jump and done well. And with that, somebody that's hopping in here that would be, a little B-League compared to us A-League, Matt, is old Drake Riggs. Drake, how's it going?
Oh my goodness.
Hey.
The offense right out the gate for the party. The party has arrived, you guys. Jeez, I heard you talking about your college days, and let's go back, why don't we? Let's take a time machine. Let's travel a bit. You guys ready for your third shot? Come on. Let's go, boys.
Oh my God. Wow. Came in bursting through the gates.
Guns a-blazing, tailgate. Let's go.
Wow. I mean, we've got a lot of comments to get through, but I will say I think it's time to go ahead and do the shot since you are here. So let's do this, Drake. Let's do this.
Let's get it. I'm not doing a full shot.
Oh no, I'm an old man. I took antacids before this started. So yeah.
Very much.
What is up, boys? TCOV, good to see you. Pulver, I'm assuming. Hello, sir. Thanks for joining us. I will admit, though, I do not have Proper 12 on me. I am very busy myself. I wasn't able to get out and go get some, and I figured I already had some stuff anyway. So I poured myself a nice tequila sunrise double shot, because double or nothing, right? So nice and strong.
And you wonder why I called you B-League at the beginning, right?
Hey, now, I got 1,800 in here. That's quality stuff.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's not bad.
All right. Salute, boys.
I'll allow it.
Yeah, salute. Do this.
Yes. Smooth.
Oh, the boss man himself pointing out that Drake is too hipster for Proper 12.
Wouldn't it be more hipster if I really loved Proper 12, though?
Yeah,
let's be honest.
Honestly,
right.
If your background wasn't the DX logo and it was Proper 12 and you had like a Proper 12 shirt on right now, but then you weren't drinking it, that would be the spot.
Speaking of that, check this out. Put me on full screen for a second. I flipped it inside out. So I got half of a green screen. Watch what I can do now with this. I can put
it looked like somebody spray painted DX on a brick.
I know. How great is that? It doesn't work for anything else though, because like if you do the family room, it's like that's a little weird looking. There's something flat like that. That's good fun, but I don't know if I'll keep that up or not. But I want to show you that.
See, now I think the brick was real. Like when you switch back to the green, it doesn't look natural.
Yeah, right. I know.
Yeah, good point.
Dang.
It's a very good point. If you're just joining us, we've just taken some more proper 12. I'm sure we'll cap off the show with at least one shot, so stay tuned to the end of that. We're also trying the hot sauce. We'll do another hot sauce test at some point here. Appreciate you joining us. Drop those comments in. We've got a lot to get through still. Let's look at some of these. All right, another one. Did you guys see Dana pushing Khabib to a McGregor rematch and mentioning how Poirier versus McGregor is trending off the charts? I did see that. And I will say, before we dive into this, we got to bring one more man into the show here. And that is Mr. Ant Walker.
Oh, shit.
Oh, I tried to bring him in. There we go.
I pressed the button at the same time. What's up, fellas?
What's up?
Hey.
Let's see. I got to readjust my camera now since we got thinner screen.
Yeah, I know, right?
All right, there we go.
There we go.
There you go.
What's going on, fellas?
What's happening?
So I have a very important question to ask you guys. Now,
Sure.
Now, you see the haircut situation. Should I put a hat on?
Let's ask the comments.
Run a poll in the comments. Hats on or
the
hats off?
comments.
Pause.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, just got a little whiskey there. I didn't get to the store to get some proper 12, but we're drinking. So,
Yeah.
And
There we go.
ooh.
California perks over there. Look at this guy.
Yeah.
You enjoy your Ted Cruz state there, buddy.
Jesus Christ.
Oh man. All right. Let's get
I don't
to.
claim Ted Cruz, by the way. I don't claim him.
We got a hat answer.
Abraham saying hat. That's a hat. Oh, but Big Zoo coming with no hat. Oh, and Bruce Bobtrider saying you're fine. Stefan. Thank you, sir.
I see Matt Hunter with the shades, medium Walker. I see that.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Throwing shots, man.
Yeah, Bruce Bob.
The gloves are off early. I see it.
Bruce Bobtrider saying you're fine. So that's two no hats, one hat.
Too bad we can't do like a poll or something.
Yeah,
I know.
Right? We need to.
yeah, I
Get on
don't.
that YouTube. It's ridiculous.
But it's all good, man. You know, y'all know what you're getting when you deal with me. So here it is. Later on, when I get more insecure, then I'll put the hat on.
All right. Sounds like a plan. There was one comment I want to get to because I feel bad because we keep going off on sidetracks, but this guy always asks no hat in the bottom.
Oh, ruthless.
Okay.
Ruthless.
Okay.
But I do want to get to.
Let me address one real quick.
Okay.
Since my name was mentioned. I am from
all right.
Shreveport, Louisiana. I was born in Shreveport, but I was raised in Texas. So yeah, went back to Shreveport for a little bit and moved back to Texas. I live in DFW now. So there you go.
DFW, man.
Mr. Brown, there's your answer.
Not cool enough to live in Austin, I see. Where the cool people.
I went to Texas State, man, and I was close enough to Austin. It was weird enough for me.
Texas State, huh? That's garbage.
Yes, sir.
Garbage.
It's all
And
right.
actually, they're fine. We don't hate you guys. We hate A&M. All right, I want to get to this comment. Adam Pitzer. Does Dana understand how the internet works? Do you think his public ranting hurt his buys or helps it? He basically just inferred by all the casual there's alternate options. This is a great point in that he made a big thing out of the piracy talk. He made a real big deal about, I'm going after that streamer. I've seen a lot of people misunderstand that if you watch a stream, he's not coming after you. Like if you find a stream and you go watch it, he's not coming after you. He's going after the guys that upload it. He's not going to be able to find everybody watching a stream. And even if he did, you don't sue for that because you can't. Yeah. You can't sue under the same things. Now, since they've slipped in the CARES Act, they've slipped in that bump up for hosting an illegal stream. It is now something, it's a felony. It can be up to 10 years in jail, I think. It's a bigger deal. I do believe he is going after some of those alternatives. But I also would say that if you were a casual fan, you might not have thought that there were places to watch illegal streams. And Dana has made a giant thing about it. I say it probably is a wash in terms of what happens, but then again, I could see more casual fans saying, I don't want to pay $75 to, subscribe to ESPN Plus and then buy a pay-per-view and then remember that I have to unsubscribe from ESPN Plus so I don't get charged next month. I mean, anyone feel differently?
I definitely want to jump in on this one because I think he's issued a challenge to people. And that's one thing that you have to understand with this fan base. Mixed martial arts is a collection of malcontents and knuckleheads, and we take these things as a challenge. So other people who probably would have just bought it, like if you've got the money to spare, you just like, I'm going to buy it because, I know the stream's reliable and, and I can spare 70 or $80 or whatever it is right now. And it's not that big of a deal. But if you are on the fence or if you're just that much of a dipshit, you might take that as a challenge and say, hey, screw you, Dana. This is also someone who has risen prices in the middle of a financial crisis sparked by a global pandemic. It's such a disconnect from the audience that you're trying to ask money from, because we could all watch every UFC event without any problems, without spending a dime, other than the cost of our internet connection, if that's what we really wanted. And if we are to believe that Dana has UFC employees or FBI agents on standby sitting outside of someone's house and they're listening into this phone call, what a crock of shit. Seriously. Like if you are someone who is uploading the stream, make sure you look out your window. If you don't see a van across the street that has that has the initials like Flowers by Irene, you're okay. You're fine.
Flowers by Irene. That's
it's a Simpsons deep cup right there. You ain't ready for that.
I mean, yeah, I'm with you. Especially you don't, as our good friend Matt from Mixed Combat Radio mentioned, you don't challenge the internet, you lose. Look at how many people have challenged the internet and how bad that's resulted in the. I'm trying to think. Shia LaBeouf, right, had the whole flag thing, hosted up that flag at the live stream. They found, just based on the live stream of the video where the flag was, they triangulated different airplanes flying over and other stuff. They found the flag and took it down. These guys, you don't mess with them. And I think this is going to blow up in Dana's face. I think it's
look at the Area 51 thing, right? Area 51.
Yeah. I mean, we don't even have to go to esoteric references to like real current events and history and all that stuff. Look at the sport of mixed martial arts. Like the government tried to get rid of mixed martial arts as we know it. The internet kept it alive. Like you had senators and governors and all sorts of very powerful, rich people that wanted to shut mixed martial arts down completely and make it a thing of the past. You had Anheuser-Busch, one of the biggest corporations in the world, spearheading this movement to get rid of MMA, and the internet is what saved it. So do you think the internet just got weaker since then? Especially when now literally everything that you do is relying on the internet. Like we can't even go to Blockbuster to rent the DVD now. Like we have to watch this online. And you really think that you're just going to shut it down like that? Come on, fam. Like let's get real. Let's get real, Dana. It's really insane. Oh, before we go, I see Sound of Violence in the chat. Those are the homies right there. They've been putting out a good product for a very long time and flying under the radar. Oh, the man, Rob Iman as well in the chat. So yeah, definitely. Oh, Dan Tom here. Like, yeah, we got the homies in here. This what's up. So go ahead. I'm gonna take a little shot for y'all.
Cheers to them.
Yeah, cheers to them, man. And yeah, I would report. I also hate that they upped the price to $70. It's was expected. It was going to happen, but I mean it's rough, especially right now in the middle of a pandemic. It just seems
Did you guys get your second stimulus yet? I'm still waiting for mine.
I'm sorry, you're not in Canada. I keep forgetting.
I'm close, buddy.
Stimmy's on deck, man. Stimmy's on
deck
all day. Mm-hmm. Got him. No, but that whole thing just speaks to Dana's like ego, man. Like like all it did, like you said, was just stoke the flames even more. Like all the people out there that were thinking about buying the pay-per-view, that were just like, you know what? Oh wait, Dana, what is Dana talking about? Illegal streams? Like what? I never even thought about that as a possibility. To the people that are like not really in tune with the internet, you know, because obviously illegal streaming has been a thing for a very long time. My favorite example of illegal streaming activity was the guy on Twitch who was acting like he was playing the video.
Yes. Legend.
That was just hilarious. But listen, like y'all said, man, don't mess with the internet. If you ever say don't do something on the internet will go and do that double time. So why he stoked the flames even more is just weird. If you were going to do all of that, just do it quietly behind the scenes. Let people figure out on the night of the fight, hey, my favorite streaming site is down. What is happening? Let people find out the hard way. Like why do you have to like go and pump your ego out, be like, oh yeah, I'm this badass, we're shutting all you motherfuckers down.
Yeah, and there you go. Mixed Combat Radio definitely streaming this pay-per-view because of Dana's comments specifically.
Allegedly.
Don't say that.
Allegedly.
Yeah. First of all, allegedly. Second of all, just Dana's comments. I don't know about that. But yeah, it's crazy. We'll see what happens. And Adam Pitzer, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. I hope if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, feel free to roast me in the comments. Anybody, that goes for anyone because I'm sure I'm doing it. But appreciate you stopping by. We love new people here. We're accepting of everyone, and you know, looking through these comments, I'm loving the things that you guys are dropping. Let's see, editor Jake in the background. What else you got for us? Because otherwise, I'll just run through these and find something here because there's a lot. Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Oh yeah, we appreciate the banter. Appreciate the chatting.
Participation. That's what's up.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Oh, yeah, it's perfect. Ooh. Did you guys see Dana pushing Khabib to a McGregor rematch and mentioning how Poirier versus McGregor is trending off the charts? It did. It was man. Did you see Khabib's reaction to that comment? Just like
desperate move. Who was that on Twitter that likened it to like a creepy guy trying to hit on a girl in the club, and she just gives that polite smile to be like, all right, yeah, don't be a psycho on me. That's exactly what this looks like. This is so desperate. This is crazy, man. He might as well just be on his hands and knees groveling at this point. I haven't heard begging like this since Keith Sweat. I don't understand like why you just can't let the man be to himself. Like if he wants to come back, he'll come back. If anything, you should be trying to have this conversation with Khabib's mom. Like talk to his mom. I know he has the resources and he probably got her email or number on speed dial. He could hit her up and talk to her and try to convince her, or talk to someone in his camp to talk to his mom. Something. But Khabib ain't budging unless his mom says so. You're not breaking that bond. The man's rich enough. He's got enough fame. He's accomplished everything he wants. GSP don't even seem to be interested in fighting him no more. Let it go, bro. Let it go. You've got plenty of stars. Like there's a guy on this card that could be the next star from that region. Atman Azad. Oh, never mind.
Yo, what's in the bag? Goddammit, we need to know.
What's in the bag?
What's in the box?
That's a great question. That's a great question for you guys in the comments. What do you think was in the bag? Because it better have been something good. I mean, I said about a pound of weed because he figured out that you saw it as a testing and suspending people anymore. So it was like, yeah, you know what? Let's take a fine. Let's get, high as hell. That's what I thought was in the bag. Well, let's know in the comments what you thought was, because it must have. I hope it was worth it. I mean, good Lord.
And quite honestly, I'm hoping we get to have the broader discussion about stupid people showing their faces this past couple of days in mixed martial arts. I want to have that conversation. So comments, please give me some.
Oh yeah,
give me some.
That I guarantee you that will be a part of the conversation at some point, either if not right now, throughout the evening, as the card is unfolding. Because boy, we got
some dummies, some dumb dummies.
Drugs or money. We got Moy's audio said XL condoms. IV is, I believe, a Bernie Sanders.
Yes, probably.
Journalist's head. Ooh, man.
Probably one of our heads in the bag.
Dark turn.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So a Coen Brothers twist is that?
Yeah, man, that's rough.
Stuff right
That's
there.
rough.
Oh, Tarantino ass. Thank you. All right.
Yeah, that's so.
Jesus Christ.
Let's see. Ant, I know you joined a little bit later. Do you have the hot sauce? I know you said you didn't have.
No, I didn't get the hot sauce. I didn't realize y'all were doing the hot sauce until like yesterday. I'm like, not paying for expedited shipping.
Yeah.
So I got some Tabasco.
Hey, I mean,
Tabasco and Jim Beam. Like I'm doing the value version of what we're supposed to be doing here today.
so you just get a piece of paper and write Poirier's Louisiana style hot sauce and just slap it over it.
Yeah,
you got right there.
Have y'all tried it yet?
Yeah, tried it, man.
Yeah, in fact,
really good.
I think it's time for another dab right now to confirm.
Oh, that's what you've been eating. I'm like,
Look,
eating on air. Like,
yeah, no, not for no reason.
I mean,
hot sauce.
You know how I get down. Like, I'll do that all day long, just in general. Like, I'm surprised. I probably got food hanging off my lip when we do our videos all the time. So, yeah,
Right.
That's true.
I just ate an edible on air. Like, come on now. I give a shit about hot sauce.
Right. No, it's really good though, for real. Like, it's really good.
Very good. Yeah,
Like,
I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I could definitely see this being a staple in my kitchen now for sure.
You know what? I'm gonna check. There's a store in Long Beach. It's no more than 15 minutes from my house, whatever. That has hot sauce, just a store of just hot sauce. And when my mom came to visit me a couple years back, took her over to the store, and she's a big hot sauce fanatic, so she got a bunch of them. But I wonder if they sell it there. I'll check over there. Also supporting local businesses and whatnot right now is a good idea. So see if they got the diamond hot sauce over there. That might be what's up.
Yeah, and if they don't, tell them to get it. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell them to get it. That way you can go buy it for them and still support the local business, all that jazz.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Look at this PSAs and shit on here. We supposed to be talking about MMA and we healing the world.
Heal the world. Talk about hot sauce and buy.
As you do.
Ooh, here's a good one from old Mixed Combat Radio. Has anyone ruined their reputation more than Masvidal in MMA history for just spouting off BS?
History. That's a broad.
Yeah.
I mean, because you always got to have the conversation about Tito Ortiz and that, which coincides with the stupid people conversation. But I think as of now, like at this moment, there's no one out there wrecking their brand more than Jorge Masvidal. You're talking about someone who, for years, has toiled in every promotion known to man, has done exceptional work in the cage, and was just so many separate times in his career was just 1 point on one judge's scorecard away from really hitting that next level and really being a household name and really being a star and a champion and everything else that comes with it. And he gets there. He gets to the point where he has a belt, no matter how illegitimate the belt is. He has a belt. Presented by The Rock and this whole fanfare that the president is sitting cage side, and it's like you can't ask for a bigger moment than that. And then to just piss it all away because you can't bother to Google something, it is marvelous. Like it's expert level in torpedoing your goodwill with the fans. And then on top of that, to have a management team that seems to just roll out the red carpet for this and doesn't have the common sense to just, hey, shut up. This PR person is going to handle your Twitter account from now on. I mean, this is just a circle of stupid. I don't even know what else to say. And I see someone was at Sound of Violence recommended Gina Carano in this conversation. Yeah. And
I also feel
she's coming for the trophy right now.
Yeah. Gina is definitely going for the trophy big time. I also feel like Stephan Bonner has to be up there with everything he's done.
But Stephan Bonner never reached beyond our bubble. He never reached a particular level of notoriety. Like Jorge Masvidal was a reality TV star as well. Well, I guess Bonner was too. Come to think of it, but you get my point. Like this was a guy who had mainstream stardom and decided to hitch his wagons on the Titanic as it's sinking.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'd say definitely right now it's Masvidal. You got to put Tito in that conversation too. But what are you gonna do? People are gonna make
my favorite Tito. My favorite Tito thing right now is him posting his selfie videos complaining about him getting kicked out of establishments for not wearing a mask.
It's like you haven't noticed the pattern yet. Like it's like you keep doing this every day. Like maybe you're the common denominator here. Like I don't know. Just a thought.
Shout out to Porcina Depot, who is just constantly with like the perfect clips of just the entire Tito Ortiz saga. It's hilarious.
I just wonder how much of his IQ has been shaved off from watching so much Tito content.
Right.
Oh, I mean, if you guys want to see prime Tito and realize that Tito has been like this, because I know some of us know that Tito's been like this forever. Go watch him when he was he interviewed the fighters after the Affliction show.
He was the commentator for Affliction.
Oh my god.
Train wreck to say
the things he said are incredible, just unreal. Go check that out if you haven't seen it already. It's one of the funniest things I've ever witnessed in my life.
Babalu Sobral, the greatest light heavyweight of the night.
Let me tell you how you feel. Like,
let me tell you how I feel.
Oh my god.
So
oh man. All right.
I see Abraham Litwin Logan right here. Hardest featherweight matchup for McGregor, assuming he fought them at 155. That is a great question. Sorry, I had to throw that in there before it got lost.
It's got to be Holloway, right?
Maybe. That thing is,
we talked about it a little bit already. I mean,
yeah. If Holloway had enough time to bulk up, I would say yes.
Right.
The Holloway that fought Dustin Poirier, no. Like just like, okay, I didn't cut as much weight, or I didn't watch my diet as much, and then I jumped in there at 155. That Holloway, no. Connor finishes that version of Holloway.
Well, that guy was still champion too, right? So he was obligated to sticking around at featherweight at the same time. So
interesting.
Yeah,
but I mean, so I'm just a little confused by the wording this. Like someone who is normally a featherweight, moving up to 155, who would give him the toughest challenge?
Yeah, I think that's what he said.
I think
Ortega could be an interesting one.
Ortega presents some stylistic problems. I'll throw Korean Zombie in there as an option as well. That's a fight that I really, really, really would have loved to see. At the height of Korean Zombie mania, that would have been incredible. And he has power that I would assume translates up to 155. Obviously has a hell of a chin on him, so that could be interesting.
I'm not saying here's my pick, and I'm not saying that this would be a win for this person, but I just want to see the striking play out. And this is someone who used to fight at 155, Edson Barbosa.
Oh, yes.
Ooh,
yes.
Yeah. I think that right there is the answer.
I think that would just be fun to see play out. I'm not saying that he would beat Conor, but I think that would be fun to see play out.
Yeah, you're speaking my language right there. I like that a lot.
Although, I mean, I guess the only thing with Barbosa is he got knocked out by Gaethje, right? I hesitate to say that he would be able to do anything differently than he did with Gaethje, right? Like I feel like he throws a couple more kicks, he does a little bit more of that for a a little bit, but he's
allergic to pressure. That's the thing about Barbosa. He's been exposed by pressure fighters.
Someone moving forward and crowding his kicks.
Yeah. And that's really what Conor does really well too. I think Zabit would be interesting too. If Zabit put on some bulk.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting because he's got that crazy ground game with some crazy scrambles too. He could throw Conor off with. But.
And I'm seeing in the chat here a lot of people talking about Volkanovski. I mean, he did play rugby at 170. I could see him at 155.
He was heavier than that. I thought he was over 200.
Man, if Volkanovski fought,
I think he was 300 pounds. I think he was 300 pounds.
Like he would get picked apart so viciously. I don't think Volkanovski at 155 touches him.
Really? Yeah.
I don't think he gets a moment to shine in that. It'll look even worse than what he did to Eddie Alvarez. They're like just without the reach, without think about how Conor controls distance so well with his kicks, and how like what he did to Chad Mendes, timing those kicks in between breaths to gas out Mendes even more than a short notice fight would. That's some next level stuff right there. Like Volkanovski would get eaten alive at 155. If Conor came to 145, maybe Conor being depleted. What's Matt talking about? What is Matt talking? Not Matt the Greater. We're talking about Matt the Lesser. the hipster hunter out there talking all sorts of foolishness. Talking about Holloway couldn't touch Volkanovski. He did touch him.
He touched him quite a bit. He touched him
a lot.
He touched him so much
that was
that
a
in fact,
real
a lot of
close
people thought he
second
won the
fight. I
fight.
don't know.
He needs to allegedly get his pirate stream going and knock this nonsense off.
Yes. My goodness.
Although you brought somebody up that I just thinking about, I would actually love to see at 155, and that would be Chad Mendes. I wonder if Chad Mendes at 155, if that fight goes any differently against Conor McGregor.
I think it would go a little differently just if he had a full camp for that.
I mean,
maybe not a lot, but I don't know if he would have gassed out the same, because that's like the only time we've seen Chad kind of slow down, right? That I can remember.
Well, I mean, at 155 though, like that's the issue going up to 155. He was already like a short, stumpy 145er. So you're gonna add 10 more pounds on top of that, and that's 155 is McGregor at his best as far as we've seen. At least the best example of what Conor McGregor can do was at 155. I don't see Mendes having much success at all at 155 against Conor.
Yeah,
that's like a suicide mission for him. It'll take someone who actually belongs at 155 to fight Conor at his best.
Yeah, no, 100%. My favorite part about that fight, the way it played out the first time, just shows you how crazy kind of Conor is with his pressure. Is that the fact, like, when Conor finally got up off the ground in that Chad Mendes fight, he immediately pressed forward and got right back into Chad Mendes' face. Like, that's one of my favorite things that kind of shows you like the character of the fighter that he is. He just spent, untold minutes on the ground. And then when he got up, he immediately got right back into the pocket. He was just like, you're not getting away from me. So that's the type of fighter we're talking about when it comes to Conor, man. And really the only time we've ever seen Conor back down was when Nate Diaz rocked him. Right. That's the only time we saw him back down and really was like, okay. And then of course the famous, oh, you're a wrestler now sort of thing. But, yeah.
Got a lot of comments talking about Volk's personality here. I mean, I will say this. I feel like Volk has a better personality than he shows through on interviews. When I talked to him at UFC 245, I got like a very brief interview with him, but then he was leaving or whatever. The dude has a much more personality than he lets through on camera. I will say that. So I think I get what you're saying for the perception right now that he doesn't seem super interesting, but dig through his Instagram, dig through maybe his Twitter stuff. The dude has some good jokes. He's got a solid enough personality in my opinion. But that's just mine. I guess I shouldn't have brought up Chad Mendes either because I'm getting roasted for it. So I'm just drinking.
He's probably like Stipe is, where Stipe is not going to give you the greatest interview in the world, but off camera, he shows a lot of personality.
He's hilarious on the embeddeds, dude. He's the star. Every time I look forward to his embeddeds because he's so funny.
I'll say when did a scrum for him at 241. I think we were, in the media day, everybody was lining up to talk to people, and me and like a few other guys, we were like, well, Stipe probably ain't gonna give us much. Let's just scrum this because no one wants to just go through that song and dance unnecessarily. And the tandem of everybody talking to him got more personality out of him, and he showed himself a little more. But it takes a certain effort to do that you're typically not going to see. Volkanovski is probably just that same sort of guy.
Yeah, I think guys like Stipe and like Volk, for example, like when they're in those interviews and those one-on-one settings, they want to always give the right answer, right? They don't want to necessarily just let their personality shine through. They want to say what they think is the right answer. And I can attest to that personally. Like when I interviewed Stipe, I was invited to interview Stipe at a restaurant here in Dallas before the Junior Dos Santos fight. And the interview he gave me was pretty good. But once the camera was off and we went sat to the table with everybody else, like all eyes were on Stipe. He was like, the head of the table, everybody, like he was cracking jokes and everything, making everybody laugh. I'm like, that's what people want to see more, not like what you expect the answer to be when you're asked that in an interview, so guys like them, they're fantastic when the cameras are off, but unfortunately they don't let it shine in every interview they give.
I think though that could be a thing where like these fighters are not generally not media trained, right? It's not like you go and do your PR practice. Maybe like something with other, team sport leagues where like, all right, we got to get you ready so, you can actually speak on camera. These guys are just like kind of winging it, like, oh, maybe never get too comfortable with it. Like, Stipe in this case, maybe, or just they realize what's happening a little bit more, or so aware of it that they shell up a little bit more than guys who prepared for it. I don't know.
You know what,
sense.
Drake? I'm glad you brought that up because I think it ties in well with the comment that was just on the screen. If the UFC wasn't a lazy promotional company, they could turn Volk into a superstar in Australia / New Zealand. If the UFC wasn't so bad at promoting, which it's crazy to think that the biggest name in combat sports is really bad at their jobs a lot of times. But it's certainly the truth.
They're very selective.
They have such a cookie cutter approach to everything. Even when they're selective, it's in a cookie cutter way. There's a reason why Paige Van Zandt and what's the kid with the big old smile's name?
Sage Northcutt.
Yeah, Sage Northcutt. Yeah. So like, there's a reason why they were put in the forefront so much, because they just fit a particular brand, and you just ignore Demetrius Johnson as a hardcore gamer in this huge, ridiculously profitable and popular esports market. Now they're starting to figure that out. So they're always so behind because they're so stuck on doing their little style of promotion. Someone like Volkanovski would have been media trained. When you get into the top 10 or the top 15, perhaps that should be a requirement that they have some sort of media training, so that way you can present yourself and the product a little better, and they can figure out what's the best lane to promote these people. How do you have now? They've got like the CBD partnership and all that, but the Diaz brothers been smoking weed since the day before forever, and they never hitched their wagon on that cart. Like that's sort of the simple, just, okay, let's add Joe Rogan screaming in the commercial and people will buy it. It's trash, man. And Volkanovski could definitely be a victim of that, because he's not the guy who's going to be out there like his teammate Izzy and just putting himself in front of the camera and just showing you who he is.
Well, and even when you talk about the promotion's capabilities and what I think Drake made a very good point about them being selective in terms of the Q&A with Dana White at the beginning of the month was kind of the peel back behind the curtain, where he talked about finally that, yes, we look at the metrics for the Chase Hooper fight. We know exactly how many people watched that fight, all of that. Same with Chimaev, right? They push people based on those initial numbers. And the problem that they keep finding is that doesn't mean that the initial numbers are necessarily the best gauge of a person's personality or how they can shine through. Amanda Nunes is a perfect example of that. She had poor numbers throughout most of her UFC tenure. And then after she beat Chris Cyborg and it finally clicked, then all of a sudden, oh, okay, we're going to promote her now. That's the drawback to promoting based on those social media metrics, those, all those things that don't necessarily add up to making someone a star. That they are looking for a Conor or a Ronda that has the giant numbers and is going out there and finishing all the time. That's why they love Chimaev so much. That's why they're going to do Chimaev versus Leon no matter what, because they like that combination. They won't push people without that combination. That's why they've been so slow on the uptake with Izzy. They've pushed him, but it took him a little bit because his initial fights, right? He had that split decision against Marvin Vettori. I think they probably saw the numbers from that and were like, okay, we're not going to push him so hard. He goes out and looks phenomenal his next couple of fights, and all of a sudden, oh, okay, we should go ahead and start to push him now. Late to the game. It one of those things where their method of pushing fighters is all designed to find the next Conor or Ronda. That's really all it is to them, because they know if they find one of those, it's worth way more than pushing a Volk or an Izzy or a John Jones or someone that might not actually pan out, and then they've lost money. And that's literally their entire mentality, is how can we cut costs to be as minimal as possible while getting as much revenue so that we can pocket it or give it to investors or what have you.
Yeah, it's a good, definitely good point there. As much as I was just on here trashing the whole BMF thing, that's probably the best marketing they've ever done. Like from a marketing standpoint and promotional standpoint, that's probably the absolute best job they've ever done. Like having, I think they had like the Grand Theft Auto type artwork with the East versus West thing on there. They had so many creative little things that they added to that promotion. Having a celebrity present the belt, having a new belt that looked different than the championship belt, and just stepping out of the box and having fun and being creative. That was the best example, even if we point to that as a bad side sports wise, promotionally, it was exceptional.
Yeah. I agree with that.
There's some good things about breaking from the norms, when the fight is big enough, right? Like what they did with Conor and Mendez, having the live performers walk them out. There's something good about always having, their brand, because it's recognizable. Like everything being cookie cutter is okay to a point, but at times when it's warranted, when you have the special fighters that are there, the ones that are above the rest, whether it be personality wise or skill wise, you got to highlight that and you got to do different things for those people. You just can't always do the same thing. I mean, the comment a second ago talking about like they have embedded and they try and all that stuff. Embedded is literally a cookie cutter production. Like if you take out the fighters and you just put faceless fighters on every embedded episode, it's the same thing every single time. It's just different characters. And yeah, maybe the joke is funnier on this episode, but it's the same thing every single time. Although we still do like to watch it because it is behind the scenes look at what's happening on Fight Week. There's nothing really special about that production.
Yeah, and
it's fun to watch. Don't get me wrong. I love watching it, but there's nothing really special that highlights a particular athlete on any given card.
I mean, it's a play off of the Showtime All Access and all that. Like that's been done before, so there's nothing necessarily creative about it, even if we do enjoy watching it.
Yeah, for sure. I just do wish that they would do more of the special stuff, because I do like it. I do like the look and feel of the UFC, right? I wish they did more with entrances at times. They just walking through the crowd, like through the tunnel, like it gets old. I want to see more. Like I love Bellator's entrances when they switch it up for their quote unquote tentpole events. They have like the bigger video entrances and all that kind of craziness. Like they do more, and it's interesting, and it gets you more engaged to what's happening. Like I remember covering Bellator Kimbo versus Dada, and I still vividly remember Kimbo's walkout because it was dope. He was walking out to the music that was hot at the time, commas. The way he came down with the meme mug on his face, had the video screen in the background. I remember Adrian Broner standing right there, just vibing with him for a second. Like these are the type of things that just don't happen in a UFC walkout. It's always the same, bar like a DC like sprinting or Frankie Edgar like sprinting to the octagon. Like that's pretty much the only differences we see. I mean, Izzy will do a dance routine, which is dope.
Which he had to fight the UFC to actually do.
Yeah, exactly.
Like he fought he fought to make the product better.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Yeah. Like, and it's like seriously the most sold out show, the most heavily attended show in UFC history. A historic moment, two oceanic champions meeting each other, and you had to fight to make a special entrance. Make it make sense, fam. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And one thing we want to get into here, because this is a perfect transition, is Adam Pitzer had brought up, anyone else bummed that Nasrat, aka Gastelum 2.0, is off the card? Sorry.
I love Nasrat.
Yeah, I love Nasrat too. I'm a little bit sad about that, but that's a perfect time to switch over and say, what are some under the radar fights that we should really address on this card, right? We've talked about the main event. We've talked about the co-main. What are some under the radar bangers? I think the, salvaged, I guess, fight from Nasrat being off and then Ottman doing Ottman things, getting kicked off. I think, Arman Tsarukyan versus Frivola should be a very good fight for as long as it lasts. I think Tsarukyan has this, but I think it's still going to be good, until until that ends. So I don't know. How do you guys feel about that particular fight, or any others that really catch your eye?
No, I agree with you on that one, just because it's like whenever there's a fight where it comes together literally last minute, right? Like these guys didn't get to prepare for each other. They prepared for totally different guys. And I agree with you with the Sarukian kind of train rolling. I haven't really jumped onto it yet because, I feel like he's in a little bit of Chimaev territory where he's been hyped up a whole lot, but we haven't seen him against really anybody just yet. And of course, not at the same level of Chimaev, but of course, he did in his debut take on Makhachev, which everyone was super duper impressed with him, even in defeat. So that just shows you, and it was a very good performance in defeat. He's got fantastic, grappling skills, and his technique is fantastic for his age, which I think was what stood out to most people. And he's looked very good since then. But Frevola, kind of a guy who consistently been overlooked against opponents. The Pena fight, his last time out, and he ended up getting the win there. Put on that great fight in the draw against Lando Venata. Like the guy. He's a gamer. It should be a very fun fight. I like that one too. Don't know if it's my sleeper one here. We can come back to me here. There's a lot of good ones. The first fight of the night, the flyweight bout, Albazi versus Zumagulov. That one should be very interesting. And I'm going to have a seizure here with what is happening with Ant.
Yeah, apparently Ant's having some struggles. Yeah, no, I mean, I like Albazi versus Zumagulov. I think I pronounced that right.
Yeah, well done.
Yes. All right. Doing it. I think that's going to be very good.
That's a very coin flip fight for me.
Yes, same. I lean Albazi there, but I think it's pretty coin flip. Shout out to my brother in the chat saying we need more CM Punk so we can get better walkout music. No, we don't. We don't, Vince.
He didn't even come out to. He did come out to Cult of Personality, didn't he? Never mind.
Yeah, he did. He came out.
All right. Never mind.
Yeah, no, just get man. It's just my brother. Everyone, this is what I deal with on a regular basis. but yeah, no. Other fights I've seen Rodriguez versus Ribas being mentioned. That comment, sorry.
Definitely.
Not violence. Yes, yeah, I agree. That probably is what's happening there. But
there he is.
there he is.
He's back.
My laptop wasn't plugged in, and then it just shut off because
amateur move.
The battery,
rookie move, bro.
The battery is so weak right now.
Look at this guy.
I tell you what, burnt this battery out so crazy. Yeah. Oops.
I'll give you my fight that's flying under the radar here because I have not seen a single person even mention this fight. Like you have to really look at the cards to see that it's even happening, or if you watched embedded a little bit, I guess. But Juliana Pena and Sarah McMahon, I love this matchup. I'm not saying it's going to be the most exciting fight on the card by any means, but I really do like this matchup, and I can't wait to see how this one plays out. Because I think it's a good spot for both of them, and they're both in a good place in the division right now. Obviously, Juliana Pena needs to rebound off her loss, but if Sarah McMahon wins this, she could find herself in another title fight. So I'm really interested to see what comes out of this one.
Who'd Pena lose to, Matt?
I mean, what are you trying to say? What are you trying to say to me? What are you trying to say?
Just get a proper shout out here.
I mean, listen. I don't know if the chat knows this. If chat. Listen, where is it? Hang on. Hold on. Let me try to do something here.
No,
chat. Chat. Listen. Jermaine Durandamy is the best fighter ever in the history of all time. Okay? I am a Jermaine Durandamy stan, and that concludes my public service announcement.
Had to set him up for it, boys. Come on now. I do like that matchup a lot as well, though. Of course, the bantamweight Sarah McMahon. It sucks that she didn't get to fight all last year. It'll be like 2 days shy since her last fight. 2 days to a year of her last fight since once this one comes up, and then she, of course, was out because she was pregnant before that and everything. Coming back here, GDR Stan is his official name now. But the thing about that fight, I love it too because I'm somewhat of a Sarah McMahon stan. I always enjoy those very good wrestlers with the backgrounds that they have coming and everything. I just feel like this fight is a little bit of a mirror match where they both do the same thing very well, except Sarah McMahon does it a lot better. So I think that that's a very bad matchup for Pena. I struggle to see McMahon having much trouble unless Father Time has caught up with her, or Mother Time, whatever you want to call it, be gender appropriate. So we'll see. But she's been a little inactive, like I said. But I think she should be fine. She's never shown any signs of ring rust.
Yeah, and I got to give a shout out to the Sound of Violence and Abraham about my Fight Business podcast. Thank you so much. I'm glad you guys enjoy that and they love it. Also, got to just
instantly shut down.
Is my brother texting you right now?
Knocking you off the pedestal right there.
I also need to answer Ecstasy for You's question. Will be Lentz winner tonight? Which I am assuming is, will Lentz win tonight? No, Nick Lentz will not win tonight. Did
Lentz type that? Like,
I cannot see Nick Lentz beating Mofsar at all.
He's one of the biggest underdogs on the card, isn't he? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think he's the biggest underdog on the card. That's not going to happen.
He's being served up on a platter right now.
Yeah,
there's a reason why this is put together the way it's been put together. That's for sure.
Yeah. Lentz is. Yeah, I don't know what Lentz is thinking taking this fight short notice against Mofsar, but it's just. It's
minus 610 right now.
Oof.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I would not put money on Lentz for an upset there. I do not see it happening. I just don't.
I mean, if you like to bet on the long shots, go ahead and throw like a quick $5 on it and pray for a miracle.
Well, here's a great question: is if you had $100, let's say you just had $100 to waste.
I did that earlier this week, as you remember my story.
Okay, there you go. So, on what outcome are you going to drop that $100 on? What's your lock of the night? Where if you had 100 hypothetical dollars, you know what? I'm going to put this on a bet. What's it going to be?
Pull up the full odds here.
Oh boy!
For like the entire card.
Yeah, entire card.
Amanda Hebus.
Wow,
would be my lock.
That is. Ooh. That I think for my money, I hate to say it, but for my money, it's a McGregor KO. It's negative 200, but I still feel like that's an easy $50 for me.
I think I'm gonna go with either Khalil or JoJo, and both of those victories, I think, solely really depend on how they come into these fights mentally, because we know exactly what both of them are capable of, and these are very winnable fights, very, very winnable fights for both of them, but we've seen they've had these mental lapses, like very hot and cold at times. But if they come in on point, they should be totally fine. So I don't know which one I would pick over the other. Khalil probably safer, but I feel like he's been more inconsistent than JoJo, so it's one of them for me. It is definitely JoJo or Roundtree.
I just wouldn't put anybody as a lock, not named Valentina Shevchenko over Jessica Ai, just because her ability to neutralize people is just way too great. So I would definitely go Khalil as a better lock than JoJo on that. Khalil, like if Khalil comes in there looking like he did in the Eric Anders fight, that is a dangerous man. Man, I want to see him back tonight. I really want to see that version of Khalil Roundtree, which actually that was my sleeper fight for this card too, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, Prochnio has looked awful in the UFC. Three straight very bad knockouts. Kind of surprising he's getting another shot here. So this is definitely Khalil's fight to lose, 100%.
Yeah, would definitely agree with that. And my brother saying that I'm stealing his question, but that's not the question that we asked, Vincent. So I will put up your actual question, which is a good one. If we're talking about just upsets, what's the biggest upset you would bet on tonight? Talked about our locks. What about the biggest upsets of the night for you guys?
Rodriguez for me.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I like that one a lot too. Actually, I think
he's being very overlooked.
Yep, especially is she at plus 275? Is what I'm saying now. Is that right?
Might be around 3, I think.
Wow. Yeah. No, for me, I mean, Amanda Rivas is very good, and I think will win this fight. But Rodriguez is definitely being overlooked, and has a solid win. She beat Tisha Torres clean like that. She's had some draws, but the draws were against Calvillo. You had Randa Marcos too, but
here's the thing about those. Let me interrupt you, Pat.
Okay,
let me take over.
Yes,
let me take over because you
for
said that you said in the preview show without me, the other prediction show, that Marina Rodriguez is looks to wrestle a lot, which simply not quite
defensive
true.
wrestling. Defensive wrestling.
Okay. But you look at Marina Rodriguez's UFC career specifically. We don't even have to look at anything before that. But in her UFC career specifically, every fight where it's been in the striking, in those battles on the feet, she's won very handedly. It's been very one-sided. And those draws in particular, Calvillo and Randa, 2 rounds, she clearly outstruck them very obviously, and then of course got 10-8'd on the ground to make it a draw. And then Carla, of course, winning on the feet, but Carla was able to get things to the mat more rounds than just one, like Randa and Calvillo were. And then if you just look at quality of competition in the UFC between Ribas and Rodriguez, I think pretty clearly in favor of Rodriguez, even though she does have the loss in the draws, but she's fighting better people. And yes, they both fought Randa. And of course, if you want to do the MMA math there, Ribas controlled her a lot better, but that's a little bit of a stylistic thing. If Ribas decides to implement her grappling, as she definitely should, because that is clearly Rodriguez's weakness, is on the ground in her takedown defense. We've seen that in the past. Path to victory is very clearly there. On the feet, it's going to be tough because no one so far has been able to handle Rodriguez on the feet. And of course, I think that there will be some in the future if she climbs the ladder and faces like the Whaley's and the Jans of the world, the Joannas. Like, we'll see a lot more. Those are fantastic matchups in terms of striking and everything. But as of right now, Rodriguez has been completely unmatched in the striking. And I think Ribas is good enough to be competitive, but she'll still be on the losing end of that spectrum. And she's talking like she wants to prove that she can hang in there, which is a dangerous game to play, which I would imagine could lead to her taking some shots and be in some trouble where then she'll shoot him for the takedown. So Ribas is very much the safe bet and has more ways to win this fight, but on the feet, absolutely not a cakewalk whatsoever if we just look at the skill set and track record of both of these ladies, going into this one.
Yeah, I mean, I would say great analysis. I'm glad you took over because you did a much better job than I would have. But what he said, yes, that is my biggest upset. Matt, and biggest upset of the night for you guys.
I thought I had one, and then I actually looked up the odds, and it wouldn't be that much of an upset. Chandler, I'm definitely picking Dan Hooker to win this fight, but Chandler is, I would not be surprised if we live in a world where Michael Chandler beats Dan Hooker tonight. That wouldn't be the greatest shock in the world. And quite honestly, we've seen Chandler kind of have career comebacks and stuff enough before to where I'm like, I don't think I want to risk money on this, my certainty in Dan Hooker right now. So that would be it. But he's only like plus 125 right now. So that's not really much of an underdog.
Yeah. Besides Marina Rodriguez, I think my choice, I'm trying not to pick like Dustin Poirier because I think he can win the fight, but I don't like that as a pick. Maybe Brad Tavares, but he's a very, 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 very small favorite or underdog at plus 105 right now. So, I mean, it counts technically, but that's really still a pick 'em.
Yeah, and that actually is a great. I think it was Adam Pitzer again somewhere in the comments, and I apologize whoever it was, had asked about Tavares versus Shoeface. I think that is a sleeper fight. I think that's going to be very good. But I also would look at Tavares there as an underdog. I mean, Shoeface has only really won via submission or decision, and Tavares is tough. His losses are usually TKOs. He's been decisioned before, obviously against guys like Izzy, which, that's no knock on Tavares. That just speaks to how good Izzy is. I think Tavares can easily get it done here. I think the fact that he's even a little bit of an underdog is very tempting betting wise. I would throw a little bit of money on him just because, I don't see a way for Shoeface to get Tavares on the ground like he wants to. I think he could take him down. I think he could maybe control some positions, but Tavares doesn't really, that I can remember, he's never really in terms of, he's never in threats of submissions that I can remember of any single fight of a Tavares. He's been taken down.
Has he fought a submission guy like Shoeface though?
Yeah, I thought he
Not
had.
quite. I don't think so.
Okay. Well, there you go. I mean, I would defer to you on that one.
Sorry to interrupt. I just have to say two things. One, I think it kicked in. Second, I want to point out something about Drake here. Drake has the facial hair of the devil, but the analysis of an angel. So
Ooh,
that out there.
Wow.
I'll take that, sir. I will definitely take that.
Yeah.
And my man always propping me up with the sultry voice comments, and now hitting me with all of that.
And to rebuttal you, Mr. Riggs, he did fight Thales Latis, who I believe,
Okay, solid.
Is a solid submission guy. So,
Did he win that one? I honestly don't remember.
yeah, he won. He won by decision.
Was that on his 4-fight run?
I believe so.
Because that was when Tavares was hitting that stride right there, and then of course ran into Izzy, and then got absolutely starched by Edmund, which was absolutely wild. I was there for that one. Yeah, man, Brad, he's been one of those guys who I think he's one of those fighters who's super duper well rounded, but has no like very obvious strength. Which it's always kind of hard to assess those guys because when you look at him in this matchup compared to Carlos Jr., Shoeface obviously is the more dangerous guy in terms of finishing. Like Brad is a guy who generally does not go, his fights don't end in finish, whether it's a win or a loss. But if it is a finish, it's him getting knocked out, which that doesn't happen too much either. So I don't know if he ever has been submitted or anything. And, you said the Thales Latis fight, that's a good guy to survive on the ground with. I don't really remember that fight much at all, so I don't remember if it did go to the ground, but I'm very curious to see if he can fend off against Carlos Jr., but I think that Shoeface is a bit too dangerous there, and I think he will find something at some point. And, Brad's been around for a long time, you guys. You got to think, Ultimate Fighter Season 11, he got in the UFC very early and has been around for, I think it'll be about 10 years now. 2010, I think, was his UFC debut, if I'm remembering correctly, but... Yeah. In terms of fight years, guy's getting up there. Like he's only 32, I think, but he's taken a lot of damage over that time. And of course, like I said, his fights are generally not very short. So taking a lot of shots at the dome, maybe he could be, the chin might be fading a bit. We'll see. Of course, he's been taking on good guys in these two recent losses, but I favor Shoeface just because he's more dangerous, from what we've seen in all areas.
Yeah, I mean it's not a bad pick, but I still think Tavares I saw Sound of Violence mentioned plus 180 for a decision. I like that a lot myself, but these are upsets, right? These aren't things that we're gonna throw the $100 lock in to. This is these are specific upsets, so that makes sense. So let's take a look at some other comments here. Stefan's got, I really want to see fights between Bellator, UFC, or any other organization who has good fighters. But is that something Dana would approve?
Nope. Never. No way. No. The risk is not worth that reward.
Yeah.
Now,
sorry, Stefan.
What I'll say to give Stefan just a little bit of hope here. In the current climate of fighter recruitment and everything else, and how the UFC is running this crazy schedule, and all these other promotions are kind of on the back foot trying to figure out how to let their organization survive. These other organizations just might be more open to co-promotion, and we've seen Bellator and Rise and link up. We've seen these things happen on a smaller scale, but I think the UFC might be forcing a climate where the other promotions literally have to. And they're letting go of enough solid talent and enough big names to where you might actually cobble together some level of real strength in a roster if it's shared among several organizations. So I think that we might see at least some degree of this, excluding the UFC, of course.
I think even to piggyback off of that, here's the scenario, the one scenario that I foresee Dana doing co-promotion like that. And that is if the Ali Act is passed in Congress. If you do that, then that opens up a world of opportunity for fighters in terms of contract limits. That's the biggest one, right? That it won't be about if you hold the belt or not. It'll be you have this many fights or this length of time for your contract. And after that, it's done. Doesn't matter if you're champion. There's no automatic, oh, you're a champion. Cool. You won. Great. Here's 4 more fights added to your contract. That doesn't exist anymore. That would all go away. So I think if that gets passed, which is seemingly more likely, which is crazy to think about now because of what's transpired in U.S. politics, if that gets passed, then I think he might preemptively go that route because that would be best for the promotions. Because if you keep getting fighters, like say Izzy decides, you know what, I want to go ahead and start my own promotion and then have a belt through my own organization. Well, now you've got the best middleweight in the world fighting whoever he wants through that own organization. You get that kind of boxing splintering off, all of that. If you preempt that with co-promotion, you might be able to stave off some of that. And you're still going to have to pay fighters a lot more money because they'll be able to negotiate however they want. But it kind of forces fighters into, oh, you can't just take a fight against the number 1 Bellator guy if you're in Bellator because we're doing something with the UFC now. So we kind of have forcing you to fight somebody over in that league. I could see that happening. It would be a long, crazy road to get there. It's a very narrow path. I'm not saying it's anywhere near above 5% even, but I could see if the Ali Act gets passed, that's the one thing that could make Dana start to think about doing something like that.
So shout out to Khalid Hossein, who is pointing out the obvious education of one Patrick O'Jay. In case you weren't aware of the accomplishments of Pat, this is perhaps the most credentialed man that mixed martial arts media has ever seen. He's known as the CEO, the CPA, the DNA, PIMP, MD, Pat O'Jay. So yes, way too educated for YouTube. This guy's a genius.
I mean,
he is a genius.
As always,
except
I
he
am a
disagrees
genius.
with me.
I am a genius. I am not a doctor or a certified accountant, so I can't help you there. But which, as I told Ant once before, I did get a message once because of Ant calling me CPA in the intro to one of our videos. I had somebody say, "Wait, are you like a CPA? Can you help me?" I was like, "No, I can't," which is incredible. But yes, no, I have some project management and business analysis certifications, Scrum Master for all you developers out there. I know Sound of Violet said he was. You know what I'm talking about, but that's all I got right now. But eventually I will have an honorary doctorate from Harvard due to my MMA knowledge.
Attaboy.
But you'll have that by next week at this rate.
Could be.
Smart ass.
So the other thing I want to mention real quickly, being the smart ass that I am, right, is we do have a Discord. If you want to join us on Discord to watch the fights, to chat, to hang out, whatever, we do have a Discord. I know that Jake is going to be dropping that in the YouTube chat. Feel free to join. We hang out there. We have a great time. Come join us. We can play Among Us like these kids do nowadays, right? That's the sell. Is that the sell? I'll play Among Us. I play it.
I'm down.
I'm down for it every day. But we do have a Discord if you're interested as well. To hit us up and reach out to us in different ways. I mean, I know we're constantly dropping hot content and just looking amazing. But besides that, this is a way to talk to us directly. So just a thought. Let's see. What else? What other comments we got here?
We got cooking.
Let's see. We got
some Discord joining people.
Yeah, Discord joining. Right, man. I love you guys.
Sound right there. Is that what that was?
Yeah. I will. I do also want to give a shout out right now to our commenters and our viewers for supporting us through all this. We've been building this over the past year. It's been phenomenal. Love you guys. It's awesome to be able to talk to you guys about higher level stuff, right? Like to have educated conversations and just everything. And of course, my brother's comment is up there, but I'm gonna power through that. It's just great to have comments from people that know the sport or ask things that are genuinely coming from a good place rather than some of the other MMA content where we see certain commenters getting, you know what I'm talking about. Just
The stupid people.
Yes. So I again appreciate you guys
normalize in 2021 calling stupid people stupid.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Just call it what it is.
Not to say that stupid people can't escape their stupidness if they're willing to learn, but if you're stupid currently, you should deserve to be called stupid.
Yeah. Just be better, and you won't get called stupid.
Yeah, and I am not sus. Vince is sus, by the way. We got to get to these two questions because Abraham has asked this twice, so we're going to get to Muhammad first and Abraham. Everyone picking McGregor. I am picking McGregor in this one. Is anyone not picking McGregor in this fight? Whoa! Drake the hipster pick. That makes sense.
Listen. So I'm cheating on this. Okay, I'm very much cheating. And it's both of my reasons and sides to this are hipstery. Okay, so I'm gonna get that out of the way. I'm gonna get that away for you, Pat. Okay, double hipster here.
I appreciate it. If you admit it, I have nothing against you. That's fine, man.
Okay,
be you, sir.
I mean, at this point, as you can see, it is what it is.
So the DX didn't do it.
Yes. If this didn't do it enough for you, which I'm really liking it, I decided to keep it up. My official pick for this fight is Poirier round 3 knockout or TKO. That's my official pick here. But yesterday or the day before, I got this gut feeling. I just got a weird feeling like, shit, this is going to be the fight where McGregor gets a submission. I got a weird feeling in me like, I don't know. Something hit me where I was like, all right, he's going to do it. Flying go-go Plata, Ant. I see you. Flying go-go.
That's not the candy I just ate? That, like, you really said that? Okay.
Yeah, that's
listen,
like, this is the end.
Last time I had a feeling like this, though. Not saying this one's going to be right, but I did predict Ortega by knockout against Frankie Edgar. Just saying. Nobody saw that coming.
With that, man.
Oh, come on now. That was clean.
No, I think you got lucky with
that. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I picked Whitaker over Jacare, but still, we're not keeping score here.
Fair enough.
I just can't see McGregor. I mean, I can see him trying to pursue that at some point and getting in trouble. I kept saying, I probably said this on this channel before too, but I think his biggest mistake at UFC 229 against Khabib Nurmagomedov was when he stuffed that first takedown and then tried to re-engage on the ground. He tried to take his back, and that led to Khabib hooking his leg and just holding him and beating him for the remainder of the bout. So I could see him doing something like that and paying the price. Just much like the Nate Diaz takedown. But to see him really, I mean, come on now. We're not talking McGregor by flying omoplata or anything here, right?
Hey, that would be pretty great to
that
see.
Would be great. I would love to see that. But yeah, I don't think we'll see anything like that at all. I don't know. This one is before I don't even want to go down that train so much, but I want to ask you guys something here. Did it feel like? Oh wow, that's what's up. Did it feel like a big fight? Seeing the press conference, seeing like the ceremonial weigh-ins, and like a touch of life as it was. Did that get anybody a little extra excited for this?
It did for me, to be honest with you. I thought it was cool to see everybody on stage. Well, not everybody, but to see the main and co-main event on stage. I just like that lead up when it comes to the UFC. I like that they do that. And I enjoyed the whole vibe of the press conference. Like there wasn't any fakeness going on. Like everybody was chill. Everybody was respectful, but you could still sense the competitiveness up there on the stage. So, I mean, I like it when guys keep it real. If there's true animosity there, then let the true animosity show. And that's just not the case with this event. So let's just keep it 100. And that's what I felt like it was. So I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was nice. It was really cool to see. So it was more normal, right? It was that sense of normalcy that we were used to seeing. Press conferences like that is just a thing that, I don't even remember the last one we got that was like that, before or early pandemic, right?
It was 248, I think, right?
Right.
Yeah, the last one was like fans in the building.
Yeah, so
and then they had the pre press conference for 249 that Mark got booed at because he asked about COVID shutting the world down.
Yep, that's right. So yeah, it was definitely very cool to see. I love that little extra, especially without getting it for so long and everything. So I'm all for that. It was fun, even though there was no, trash talk or shit talking or whatever. It was fine. Still nice to see that always. I'm going to tune into it no matter what, but it didn't really boost my excitement really, maybe because I'm an emotionless bastard, but it was still very good to see. I prefer to see that over not seeing it. So yeah, no, it was nice.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think it helps. I think Conor not being his boisterous self necessarily, or being boisterous in terms of, having competitive edge, but not like what he did up to the Habib fight or what he's done for the Aldo, things like that. I think it didn't enhance the excitement that much for me. And it's not that I necessarily like that, because I like how respectful he was. I appreciate the authenticity that happened in this press conference, but I do know for me, it did feel a little bit deflated compared to other Conor fights. And that might just be because, again, of the Fight Island scenario, the way things were going. The press conference was announced, I think, 2 or 3 days before it happened. It wasn't like, hey, we're doing a big build up, we're doing a bunch of media like they normally do. So, but still, a big fight overall, obviously. Super excited for it. And we have to get to, Abraham's comment has been very patient with us. Appreciate you, Abraham, for watching, tuning, and doing all that. If McGregor had beaten Mayweather, who would McGregor have fought next? This is a great question because, one, it would have been just the most ridiculous, shocking upset, I think, in the history of boxing in some ways. Two, in terms of who he would have fought next, I don't know.
I have the answer.
Okay, I'm going to throw it to you, Drake.
Mayweather. Yeah, there's no way they don't. There's no way they don't do a fucking rematch on that. Are you kidding me?
I mean, that makes a lot of sense. But like fresh opponent, I say Canelo would have been the next logical step.
Yeah, the right answer is Mayweather though. Immediate rematch. They run it back 4 months, 5 months later, and just double their money. Like, of course, that
would be so much bigger. Man.
And I mean, just imagine, like, they did the whole 4-stop world tour for that one. For the rematch, if Conor won, Conor's head is already in the clouds, but boy, he'd be on Mars right now. Jesus.
Yeah, I honestly don't think he would have come. Well, let me ask you this. Would he have come back to the UFC if he had beat Floyd Mayweather? I don't know that he would have, because I think he could have gotten huge boxing fights for the rest of his career.
Well, I think that if Conor won, and let's say he fought Mayweather again and then somehow won again, Conor's Mayweather promotions would be well underway right now to this point. Like, he would be like, I'm done with you, UFC. I'm starting my promotions, and it's going to have mixed, like boxing fights, MMA fights. It'll be just like a mixed, discipline type of promotion, I think.
You know what? I think also too. I think if McGregor beats Mayweather in that world, their roles simply reverse, and McGregor then becomes the brand name of all combat sports. He becomes like this huge icon. He controls the narrative at that point. So then maybe boxers start challenging him in the cage or something. Like, maybe then we start seeing him inviting Adrian Bronner or something to fight him in the UFC, something silly like that. Like, yeah, it'll start turning into more of a circus, but a circus that more favors the MMA fighters at that point.
I still think too that he would. It's hard to tell, but I feel like the Habib fight would still happen at some point. At some point, I feel like that would be a thing that just there was still the history of it before it even happened and everything. I feel like, I don't know when. That's hard to tell. It definitely gets out of the realm of possibility if these things happen where he wins in boxing like that. But that still seems like a thing to me where, he'd want to do it at some point. It's assuming Habib in that universe, stays undefeated champion and everything.
Yeah. I mean, you'd imagine they'd eventually do that, but I also think again, if McGregor beats Mayweather twice,
Ugh.
then yeah, I think you set up Canelo. I think you set up any and all people just to get money, and then you come back to Habib when that well has seemingly run dry, or it just isn't. It isn't where it makes as much sense, because the money in boxing, especially if you're headlining those cards and if you beat Floyd Mayweather, I mean, is 10, 15 times what you're going to get in the UFC minimum. So I can't see Conor coming back to the UFC for anything less than a giant pay bump or a fight with Habib after he's done in the boxing world in that scenario.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. Let's look here. Benny Boy, thank you for joining us, sir. Who you all got between Hooker and Chandler? Again, we've touched on this a little bit. I've got Hooker. Who here has Chandler? Okay, Drake.
I do.
And Matt. Okay, so me and Ant, you're on Hooker train? Yeah, okay.
Sure.
So me and Ant. All right. And Drake, I think we covered it before you jumped on. So you think Chandler's going to get this done?
Yeah, I do, but it hit me last night. It literally hit me last night where I was like, fuck, dude, Hooker really is like maybe the worst possible matchup for Chandler in like the entire top 10, like it is a rough one for him. So me picking him is kind of more off of belief and wanting, the outsider to come in and do great. Cause I always love that story. I'm such a sucker for great stories and, the hipster picks, right? So that is, I would love to see the story of Chandler come in and continue on with everything he's built outside the UFC. To come in and build in the UFC, but it is not going to be easy for him. I cannot foresee him getting a finish of Hooker, especially a knockout or something like that, because we have seen how incredibly, impossibly tough that Dan Hooker is. Submission, he has been submitted before, I believe, maybe twice or 3 times, but definitely not rare. Is Chandler the guy to do that? I don't think so. Can he control him in the grappling? Yeah, I think it's possible. And on the feet, I think he doesn't get enough credit for his precision and his speed. Chandler with his hands, he's a very crisp boxer, and he just finds those spots and puts combinations together very well. Has a lot of power, but again, like if he can put out Hooker, that is incredibly impressive. But that's something that is just too hard to pick. And I think if anything, the key here will be for Chandler to close the distance and not play at range. You cannot let Hooker do his thing, otherwise he's going to be in serious trouble, because just you look at him, the size differences and the length is all very in favor of Hooker. And then Hooker has power himself, and the guy doesn't even fade, really. Like, of course, you look at the Poirier fight, and they both kind of not faded, but slowed down towards the end of that fight. But that fight was a war. They were going very hard.
5-round war, like that. Yeah, that's a different animal.
Yeah, that's not just they're going at it. And it's one sided. It's not a one sided affair in that case. Where okay, if he slows down because he's beating the guy up, whatever. But they went through a lot to get to that 5th round, and of course, you're not going to be the same in most cases unless you're Whaley and Joanna. You're like one of those rare cases. So I am believing in Chandler to be able to implement that game plan to ride out probably a very close decision no matter what. He's going to have to mix up his game tremendously. I think he can do it. I think this is a moment where he will rise to the occasion. You look at a similar moment, I compare it to the first Alvarez fight, where that's the fight that Chandler put himself on the map. Guy was virtually unknown at this point. We knew he was a phenomenal prospect, but he's going against Eddie Alvarez, peak Eddie. You could maybe say that was the Eddie before even he was UFC champ. Like the guy, one of the best lightweights, definitely the best lightweight outside the world. Came in there, surprised us all, almost finishes Eddie in like 15 seconds. Then they go on to have the greatest fight of all time, in my opinion. Love that first fight so much. And just seriously puts himself on the map, and he's one of the best in the lightweight division worldwide ever since that point. I see similarities to that where he's getting counted out again. Of course, it's not the exact same because we know who Chandler is now, but it's one of those moments where I think he rises to these occasions. But it's a very tough fight.
I think Chandler is going to have his hands full with this one. Man, the volume that Hooker puts on you, If he, unless Chandler, like I believe Pat, you said this, like if he doesn't just go out there and just stick his head right in the Hooker's chest and try to compress everything that Hooker can possibly mount as far as offense is concerned, then he is in a world of trouble. If he gets remotely comfortable at range, he's just going to start picking apart at Chandler. And I think, and while Chandler is a decent boxer, I mean, Dan Hooker had success on like actual striking circuits. Like he is a good striker for striking purposes and not just mixed martial arts. It's going to be a different world out there. I think he's going to get pieced up on the outside until his chin just has enough.
Yeah, and I mean, as me and Matt had covered before, that was basically our kinds of arguments in terms of what how this fight would go. Want to just give a shout out to everybody watching. We're going to do one more shot here, or really a quarter shot or non-existent shot of proper 12.
Non-existent? You got plenty in that bottle, boy. Come on.
I have to pace myself
True.
because we're going to take a short break before we do the fight companion here in about an hour and a half or so. But I've got some chores to do. We got to take a break before we do that, because it's going to be a long night. And then we're going to do some post-fight stuff. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be amazing. I hope you guys join us for that. If you haven't, liked and subscribed to the channel, please do. We love your support if you have. I mean, you guys, your comments are great. This has been awesome. This is by far one of our best live chats we've had yet. So thank you so much for all the amazing comments. So let's pour out this proper 12. We'll do a quick speed round of any remaining questions. So let's, or comments. Yeah, I know Sound of Violence, non-existent shot. It's there here. It's there. It's just, I know. I'm an old man.
It's a little a little bit. Pause.
Yeah. Let's see. There was one question I wanted to answer before I started all this. Here's a comment I want to address real quick. Think Hooker is the guy to beat Conor at 55. Great chin, long range, can reach past what Conor struggles with. Yes or no? I'm going to go no. I don't think Hooker's that guy.
I'm going to go no as well.
Okay, it's 2 no's.
Negative.
That's 3 no's.
I like where he's coming from. I think it's possible, but
I've speed round, Drake. Yes or no?
I know. I've never got that thought. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no as well.
Like you need to actually use speed, Drake, because you have aerodynamic hair. You could just glide right through at light speed. Please continue, sir.
It's just not how I roll, man.
From my brother, is proper 12 any good? Vince,
it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. You're not Vince. Vince, you're a big whiskey guy. You're not gonna like it. You're gonna think.
You have to respect it for what it is. Like right now, I'm sipping on Jim Beam. Like it's not the greatest thing in the world, but hey, it was $20 a handle at Ralph's, and it's good enough for that purpose. Like you have to keep proper 12 in the Jameson, Jack Daniels tier of whiskeys. Like it's not Basil Hayden, it's not Balvenie, it's nothing. The higher end brands, it's not that. So go into it with tempered expectations.
Yeah. Like this statement here on the screen is not true. It's not terrible. But I mean, if you just crack open a bottle, unless if you have all of those premium brands that Ant said and line them all up next to each other and then do a taste test that way, like it's fine for what it is.
Like you do, Vince.
There you go. But it's fine. It's really not bad. It's not great. I mean, it's fine. If you
it's middle of the road. Stefan, we love you too.
Thing right here.
Oh, Street Fighter.
I like it with Pepsi because that vanilla little taste it has there. So,
connoisseur.
It works.
Okay.
Thank you, Chili Chippy. Yes, I think that's pretty good. Ooh, here we go. Angelo Kaz again. Who has a more dangerous ground game, Brian Ortega or Charles Oliveira? I'm going to go Oliveira. 2 Oliveras. Matt, Drake. Thoughts? Ortega.
I love Oliveira, but Ortega.
Ooh. Just ground game in general? Yeah, Brian Ortega.
Okay, there you go. Split.
T-City.
T-City. Yeah, all right. All right, I think that's all the... Adal Hussein, one more here. McGregor versus Masvidal this year, is that possible?
No.
No.
No,
I don't think so. I don't think they make that fight.
I don't see it as not just. I mean, it's possible, I guess. Like,
Okay.
Possible, yes. Will it happen? No.
Yeah, if Covington beats Masvidal, which I think most of us would expect to happen, McGregor, who knows what he's going to want to do, but a fight with Jorge Masvidal sounds pretty appealing at that point, I think.
Yeah. Hey, Benny Boy here also bringing out Charlie Olives was irrelevant until he beat up.
How dare you, Benny? How absolutely dare you?
Cannot trash Charlie Olives like that. Cannot do it.
Tony.
Wow. Amazing.
That's
Jeez.
Tony is fantastic.
I'm gonna sip to that one.
Yeah. Wow. And we got Adam Pitzer here. Is Poirier going to make the mistake of letting Conor touch him up too much? He's getting used to going to war. I don't know. I think Conor's going to touch him up regardless. I don't know that's necessarily a mistake he'll make. I think that just given their styles, I think Conor touches him up. I don't think it's necessarily Poirier letting it happen.
I think one of Poirier's biggest improvements since their first fight has been his striking defense. So I think of course he's going to get touched, but I don't think it's going to be. I don't think he'll go into a war with Conor and just be not defending whatsoever. I don't see that happening. So I'll say no on that one.
Yeah,
right.
Let's say no as well.
Okay.
I don't necessarily think it's a mistake, so I'll say no. But he has a good point. I mean, Poirier is eerily accepting of a war, and Conor's like the wrong person to accept that.
Right.
Yeah. Last two, Gaethje versus Oliveira. Who wins? I'm
on that Oliveira train. He's going to be champ this year.
Charlie Oliver.
I'm going Gaethje.
I'm going Gaethje too.
It seems like me and Pat are the only one. We're agreeing, and Drake and Matt are in each other's pockets here.
Well, you're agreeing with the guy with a bunch of initials.
We'll get the correct guy on the right side of the screen.
There we go.
I'll tell you one thing. This isn't like a forced interracial thing. Like, it's genuinely, black guys and white guys liking the same thing. So there we go.
It's true. This is true. Who has better? Who has better cardio? Tony Ferguson or Max Holloway?
Holloway.
Max Holloway. Yeah, Holloway.
He's breaking striking records every time he fights now.
Max Holloway for sure. This dude just unleashed a 200 punch ultra combo in his last fight. And
while he was having a conversation with the commentary.
Exactly.
Yeah. I gotta go Holloway there. All right. Let's see. Got a couple more. No, not Tony. But now we want this one. Solid. Who's most likely to be triple champ out of these? Conor, Adesanya, Henry Cejudo.
Cejudo.
Not Conor, because Kamaru at welterweight absolutely runs through him.
Eats him alive.
Adesanya, I don't see Adesanya beating Stipe. I just think he's too small for that. Henry Cejudo, I mean, Volkanovski, size-wise, is the best featherweight for him to fight for that title. So,
yep, I'm with you. Volkanovski all the way there, or as being the best matchup for Cejudo.
Quadruple C.
Yeah, quadruple C. And last one. What are the odds Conor calls out Max, assuming he wins?
Not very good.
Low. Yeah, I'd say 5%. Maybe he wants it because it's if he doesn't want the belt for
how does he not call out Habib? How does he not?
Yeah.
Well,
if anybody.
The only reason I say this is that if for some reason he knows Habib is not going to be fighting anymore, then Max because if he gets the belt, then he's tied into more fights, right? He said he has, I think, 4 fights left. If you get the belt, then you automatically get that extension. If he wants to just have fun fights and ride that out until he renegotiates or what have you, I could see it happen. So I'm going to say 5%. Very low, but it's there.
I'll agree with that.
I'll go 20%, and only that high because he might just call out a bunch of people, just mention names. Holloway would be on that list.
Could be. I like it. Matt?
Yeah. I think he could definitely call out Holloway, considering, he saw the whole thing that kind of went like a story, him watching him skateboard through the window during the interview. Like, I'm sure he's on his mind. So I could see, I'd go maybe 33% chance he mentions him in his post-fight interview.
Okay, 33% chance. There you have it. All right, well, guys, thanks again so much for watching. Appreciate it. Love you guys. Join us for that fight companion that's going to be starting here in about an hour and 15 minutes, doing the full card. Just more stuff like this. We'll also be commentating on the fights, giving our round score by score. Some of us will be right. Some of us will be wrong about how things are scored, right? So that's always a fun time. We'll make side bets. We'll have fun. It'll be great. Make sure you join us there. Thank you so much. And we love you guys. So see you in an hour and 15.